What is going on, guys? My name is D-Free. Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle team building video. And we're going to build this one for Trunks as the leader. So a Trunks team that, in theory, should be able to optimize the unit and allow for him to be used in a lot of very good scenario. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, leave a like, and all that other good stuff. And if this is not the video for you, if you don't like these videos, that's fine. I've been getting that a little bit more and more lately as I've gotten bigger. Of course, it comes with the territory. I'm not mad about it. But if it's not for you, just don't watch it. Watch something else. I'll have other stuff up. That's all I can really say. You know, some people don't like that I do breakdown videos on new leaked units before they come out or whatever. That's fine. Just don't watch them. There's nothing I can do. I want to help you guys out. The people that do need this information do care for my opinions and so on and so forth. So that's what the purpose of this is. Excuse me, my voice. What we're going to do is we're going to build a team around Trunks. Now, this is actually not the easiest thing to do because Physical is actually a group that is littered with a bunch of very good units. Now, I actually went through a long, 10-minute process I just was recording in which I had a lot more units in here, but I eliminated them all just to kind of narrow the list down because it was kind of all over the place. But Physical is a group that has a lot of very good units because if you look in the top right, we have Cooler and Omega there. They can function well on this team because Trunks has shocking speed. You know, you look at the Rebirth units, Trunks wants you to have Rebirth friends on the team because they allow you to optimize Trunks even better. It's the same problem Majin Vegeta has. You know, he wants you to have Rebirth guys, except unlike Majin Vegeta, Trunks actually has really good Rebirth units on his team. You know, the ones that you could run on AGL aren't super good with Majin Vegeta. And then you have the bottom, right portion where you have those 3 super units that hit really hard and have other varying degrees of usefulness. But there's only 6 slots. So there's a whole lot going on here. I'm going to put him down there. Those are the sealers. So just quick recap because I know I'm going to get questions about it. Look, understand any of these units is up for game. If you don't have one of the units that I initially have right here, feel free to sub them out for somebody over here that's available in the game, period, that functions the same way. Originally, I said Nappa was a very good option. Deemed him not useful in this scenario where I was trying to build the best possible team, but again, solid option. God Goku was originally in my list. El Arginyu is not obtainable, but he was in my list. These two were in my list, the Blue Vegeta and the Kaioken Goku, because of the fact that they are able to supply orbs for Trunks in different ways. Arali is a very good unit. She doesn't get a whole lot of play anymore. There's just a lot of guys. Goku Black, he's really good, but he's not good enough on JP. I don't even know if he'd be good enough on global if this was specific to global with his 3 key passive, to be honest, because of the scenario. Broly's very good unit, very underrated because we had a lot of mess talked about him, but he's really good. You know, there's a lot of these guys that are very good, but again, like I said in the beginning, I am trying to narrow this. There's too many units available because what'll happen is if it comes to building the team, I can say let's throw these villains on the team. And then that virtually makes Gotenks useless because Gotenks doesn't share links with anybody but Vegito Blue that allow him to super attack at least semi-consistently. Now, the one counter to that argument is that Gotenks supers early, which is great. But the problem with him not supering or not supplying ki through the team basically is that he doesn't supply anybody else with the team. So what happens when you get on rotation with him and Trunks? And look, the only link they share is Super Saiyan, right? So it's like, what happens? And so what if the scenario is Trunks, him, and Cooler? You know, the beginning of the game, you haven't had a chance to set up their rotation. Well, all 3 of them are going to struggle for keys and supers. So it's weird. But of course, just like any other team, you would want to run probably 1 or 2 key supports for that exact reason to help mitigate that. Now, the 40% supports are kind of compelling because the Gohan and the Super Buu both offer 3 key each to physical units. There's no break off. They only offer the 40% though to the heroes or the villains. If you're Gohan heroes, the villains, Super Buu gives them 40% more attack and defense, but they give 3 key anyway. So what you could do is you could run them if you have these guys on the team and just say, hey, some of these guys will not get the percentage increase, but they'll all get the key, which is, I guess, what all that really matters, right? So I guess what I'm saying is there's going to be a scenario where Trunks' team will have maybe mainly heroes or maybe some villains blended in. And there's not really a wrong way to really construct his team because of the girth of options that the team has. So what would I run is what I'm going to turn this into. What would I run in my head? What do I think would function the best, has the most stability, and is the most cohesive? So, of course, Trunks would be your leader. Of course, we're operating in a scenario where it may not be something that's actually plausible or doable right now, but you and your friend both have LR Trunks. That's fine. And what you would want to do from there, boom, Vegito Blue, of course, especially if he gets the awakening to LR. Of course, the Trunks is JP specific for now. I don't know how long if he even will be, to be honest, how long the Vegito Blue thing will be specific to global. I know it was global's voting, but I think eventually they'll kind of even some of that stuff out, even though they want to have some specific stuff. I think Vegito Blue is probably too popular to not blend over to JP, to be honest. Either way, let's just talk about the TUR when we have here. That's not really relevant as far as LR goes. So that guy's there. These guys are really good, right? They're freaking incredible. But the problem with them is they're going to probably want to be on rotation together most of the time because they trigger enough of each other's links, Shocking Speed, Big Bad Bosses, and Fierce Battle. And also, they don't share any links with anybody else but Trunks. Oh, man, I just yawned. My bad. That was super unprofessional. If I remember, I'm going to cut it out, but it's like 1 a.m., so forgive me. So they don't share any links with anybody but Trunks, so they're definitely a liability unless you can have them on rotation. But again, if you have them on rotation, you have 2 Trunkses there. They're not better than the second Trunks on rotation. Trunks is one of the hardest hitting units in the game. These guys are too, but they're not better than Trunks on rotation. So, especially like a rotation of Trunks and like another Super Saiyan or like, whatever. They may outdamage them, to be honest, but it's still not necessarily a better thing due to Trunks' ability to innately get critical hits. So, for the first build, I'm going to have something like that. Those 4 in the top and 2 supports. Let's throw you in there because you have the GT link. And a key support would be nice, to be honest. Let's actually throw Bardock in there because he offers the key and is also a sealer. That also allows you to get away from Gotenks, who's great and all, but isn't as useful as a Bardock would be because of Bardock being able to have Fierce Battle, be a support unit, and also do the sealing thing. Now, sealing isn't super prevalent anymore because they keep taking that ability away. So this is just me building a team under the premise that they can do it. So once again, it'd be Bardock, Goku, these two. Rotations would be, despite me saying it's not as good, rotations would be 1 rotation of these 2 Super Saiyans at the top. These 2 are going to be floaters, and these 2 on rotation, and then the other Trunks would be the floater in that scenario. So what would be a more well-rounded hero-centric variant, or maybe a hero-centric variant with 1 villain, right? Let's drop Cooler because Omega is basically cooler but better. He's cooler than cooler. That never gets old every time I say it. So let's have these 3 right at the top. This is where things get a little bit more interesting because Trunks, he shares his best friend is actually this Trunks. It's funny, but Kid Trunks is this guy's best friend. Now, this guy would be amazing if he offered Ki via his passive. Since he doesn't, he's a really good support unit either way, to be honest. But since he doesn't, that kind of beats him out in my eyes because when it comes to Trunks, he wants the Ki and he wants it now. You know what I'm saying? So let's put you on the team. And the last but not least, we're not going to exclude my boy Gotenks twice. So now we have a scenario where we have limit breaking form over in a flash right here. We have GT here, shocking speed here, prepare for battle virtually across the board aside from these 2 here. We have some rebirth incorporated because this Trunks is actually a very good hard-hitting unit. The Trunks can honestly, that's more for damage, to be honest. The Gohan is a better unit on this team because he has rebirth and shocking speed and prepare for battle. He offers like 1 more key than this guy does with that LR Trunks. They have 4 links between these 2. Let's see what they are. I know the lines are all over the place, but the 2 Trunks is linked for Super Saiyan, Vegeta Family, Prepare for Battle, and Rebirth. I can't read it. I just know what it is. And you share with him, like I thought, 1 extra key. Super Saiyan, Shocking Speed, Prepare for Battle, and Rebirth. Now, this guy also has Kamehameha, which is across the board most of the time. There's 3 other units that have it. So he could feasibly be an off-rotation floater that does damage, but also is still able to help Trunks out with getting a super, honestly, I think this is the better team. As long as this guy doesn't touch Omega, he's fine. Now, your first and second rotation would be... dang, Vegito Blue becomes a floater on this team. Vegito Blue or Gotenks becomes a floater. I guess that's not a bad problem to have, though. Either way, it'd be Trunks and Vegito Blue, or Trunks and Gotenks, whichever you have. And then second rotation would be Trunks and Omega. You don't want to have Omega off rotation, in my opinion. You could if you want to. You can make Omega the floater. Honestly, all three of those guys are interchangeable. Omega, Gotenks, or Vegito Blue. It doesn't really particularly matter. But the point is, you're going to be consistently super attacking with that setup. Now, until they build a support unit that's better than like SS3 Goku, who offers 2 key to all these guys and then 25% attack, no defense, then there's not really another unit that you would want to run. Also, this guy isn't making the team simply due to lack of options. And due to the fact that, I think I said it earlier, ceiling is not as relevant in this game anymore because they keep taking that ability away. Same reason why the Stunner Goku doesn't really make the team, because there's not really a slot for him in a scenario like this, because like I said, there's too many good units. But there's also not really much usefulness for stunning half the time anymore. They keep taking the ability away in these newer Dokkan events, so it's not really relevant. So, I don't know. Another thing you could do is you could do this, to be honest. He lacks shocking speed, but what he lacks for, he makes up for it with the ability to give these allies 2 more key. So it's virtually the same exact thing. So you can also do this too. He also has Kamehameha. You sacrifice the damage. Gohan does more damage, of course, but this guy may wind up doing more team damage per rotation due to the consistency of his links and his support passive. Also may help guys like Omega Shenron, if they're on rotation, get supers. So this could be a more stable version than the Gohan iteration is, because of the fact that he doesn't have to be linking, and he can also just supply the key via the passive directly to the other units, especially the one on the far left while he's on the far right, because of course they cannot link because they're not in the middle. So I'd honestly, this last slot, it can be any of these guys in this left row. It's just what it comes down to. It's that funny. Or you can do this for the least stable version possible. You could do all 6 of these guys. That's the least stable version possible, but it is what it is. I've kind of preached to the usefulness of these support units over and over and over again. I'm not going to go ahead and, talk your ear off with that. But keep in mind, having that third support unit most of the time is better than having that third damaging unit. Hence why I said, despite the fact that Goku doesn't hit anywhere near as hard as the Gohan or the Trunks for that matter, they both virtually hit for about the same damage. I've done showcases for both of them. Just go on my channel, check them out. This guy may add more overall damage to your other 2 hard hitters on the rotation. That basically allows his damage on that rotation to trump the damage it would have had if it had one of these guys instead of him. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, leaving a like of all that other good stuff. And that's it. Later today, I'll have some more gameplay for you guys, not just the talking gameplay, because I know that I get scarce on that sometimes. But have an awesome day. I'll catch you guys later.